Stop. Read this before you reach for the next distraction. You think you quit because you ran out of strength. You did not. You ran out of reasons you actually believed. There is a difference, and the difference is the whole reason you are still where you are. Picture day 3. The plan was clean on Sunday. By Wednesday, the bag is still by the door, untouched, and you have already told yourself a calm little sentence that lets you walk past it. That sentence is the real subject of this video. There is one word you say to yourself right before every quit. It feels like wisdom when you say it. It is the permission slip you sign without reading. I will name that word before we are done. When you hear it, you will not be able to unhear it. Musonius Rufus, who taught that virtue is not theory, but practice trained into the body like a craft, said the proof of a man is not what he knows, but what he repeats. You know plenty. You repeat almost nothing. Here is the stakes, said plainly. If you keep treating each quit as a separate accident, you will quit forever, because you will keep fixing the wrong thing. You will keep buying motivation to patch a hole that was never about motivation. By the end of this, you will stop chasing strength you do not need and start dismantling the identity that makes quitting your default. I am not here to lift you. I stopped negotiating with myself a long time ago. You still hold the meetings. You still let the committee in your head take a vote on whether the work happens today. I close that committee. That is the only thing that separates us. Listen carefully. You believe quitting is a moment, a single point where the willpower meter hits 0 and your hand let go. It is not a moment. It is a verdict you reached long before the moment arrived. Look at how it actually happens. You do not quit at the hardest part. You quit at the boring part. You quit on the unremarkable Tuesday when nothing is dramatic and nothing is on fire and no one would blame you for stopping. That is the tell. If quitting were about strength, you would break under maximum load. Instead, you fold under minimum interest. The gym did not defeat you. The 3rd week of the gym defeated you, because by then it stopped feeling like a story and started feeling like a life. That is the part that exposes you. You are not weak. You are uncommitted in a way you have learned to disguise as being tired. Watch the language you use. You do not say, I am abandoning this. You say, I need to be realistic. You say, now is not the right time. You say, I will come back to it when things settle. Things never settle. You know things never settle. The phrase exists only to dress retreat in the clothes of strategy. Count how many things you have started. The diet, the business idea, the early mornings, the book half read on the shelf, the skill you bought the course for and opened twice. Each one died the same death, not loud, quiet, a slow drift until the thing was simply no longer something you did. Now ask the question you avoid. What do all those abandoned things have in common? You. The same man stood at the start of each of them and walked away at roughly the same distance from the finish. That is not bad luck repeating. That is a pattern, and a pattern with one constant variable is not a mystery. It is a signature. Here is the part that will sting. You have started to expect it of yourself. Somewhere underneath the plans, you already know how this ends, because it has ended this way so many times that the ending is now part of how you see yourself. You do not say it out loud, but you brace for it. You start things already half-braced for the day you stop. That bracing is the disease. You think you are a person who tries hard and keeps failing. You are not. You are a person who has quietly accepted quitting as part of who he is, and that acceptance does 90% of the work before any difficulty ever shows up. This is why motivation never fixes you. Motivation aims at the moment. It tries to give you a surge of strength for the Tuesday. But the Tuesday was never the problem. The problem was that you walked into Tuesday already being the kind of man who stops on Tuesdays. You cannot out-effort an identity. You can grit your teeth through one hard week. You cannot grit your teeth through being yourself. And right now, being yourself includes a permanent emergency exit, a door always propped open, a standing offer you have made to yourself that says you are allowed to leave the moment this gets heavy. A man with that door open will always find a reason to use it, not because he is weak, because the door is there, and a door that is always there will always, eventually, be walked through. So stop trying to be stronger. Strength was never the missing piece. You do not need more willpower for the hard day. You need to become a man for whom the hard day is not a decision point at all. That is the shift, from event to identity. You quit because somewhere inside you, quitting is still listed among your options. As long as it sits on the menu, your mind will keep ordering it on the days the work tastes like nothing. So take it off the menu, not by promising harder. Promises are what you make at the start of every cycle, and they have a perfect record of failure. You take it off the menu by changing what you believe is true about yourself, and then forcing your actions to prove that belief before you feel it. Here is the order most men get backwards. They wait to feel like a disciplined man before they act like one. They sit there waiting for the identity to arrive so the behavior can follow. It runs the other way. You do not feel your way into a new self. You act your way in, repeatedly, until the actions become the evidence, and the evidence becomes the identity, and the identity makes the next action automatic. Musonius said it cleanly. The man who practices hardship becomes the kind of man hardship cannot move. Not through belief, through repetition done in the body. So the question changes. It is no longer, can I push through today? It is, what kind of man am I building? And does this next action belong to him or to the old one? That question has power the old one never had, because it removes the negotiation. You stop asking whether you feel like it. You start asking who you are. And a man who knows who he is does not hold a vote every morning. Understand what you are crossing here. There is a threshold between a man who hopes to keep his word and a man whose word is simply not up for discussion. You have lived your whole life on the near side of that threshold, where every commitment is provisional, where everything you start has a silent unless attached. On the far side, the unless is gone. You do the thing because you are the man who does the thing. The weather of your mood becomes irrelevant. The boring Tuesday becomes irrelevant. There is no door to walk through because you sealed it, not with a feeling, but with 100 small proofs that quitting is no longer something you do. That is not harder than your current life. It is easier. You have just never tasted it, because you have never stayed long enough to reach the part where it gets quiet and certain. You have only ever lived in the loud part, the starting part, the part that always ends the same way. Cross the threshold. Here is the word. The word you say right before every quit is tomorrow. Not no, never no. No would be honest, and you would notice it. Tomorrow feels like a yes deferred. It feels generous. It feels like you are still in the game. You are not in the game. You left. You just left politely. Every abandoned thing in your life died with that word in its mouth. I will start again tomorrow. I will get back on track tomorrow. Tomorrow is the door, and you have walked through it more times than you can count. Now, you close it, like this. Become the man who keeps the appointment with himself the way he keeps an appointment that could cost him money. Become the man who acts before the mood arrives because he stopped letting the mood vote. Become the man who does the boring rep on the unremarkable Tuesday, precisely because no one is watching and nothing forces him. Become the man who finishes the small thing in front of him so that finishing becomes the thing he is known for. First to himself. Become the man who hears the word tomorrow rise in his throat and answers it with one action today, however ugly, however small. Become the man whose standards do not bend to how tired he feels at 9 at night. Become the man who has so much evidence of his own follow-through that quitting would feel like lying. Become dangerous to your own excuses so that the old sentences die the moment they form. Now make it concrete, because identity built on air collapses. Cut the goal until it cannot intimidate you. Not the year, not the month, the single next action. The one rep, the one page, the one set of clothes laid out. Do it today, even when today is the worst possible day to do it. Because today being a bad day is the exact test you keep failing. Do it badly rather than not at all. Because the streak is the identity, and a bad rep keeps the streak alive while a skipped rep kills it. Mark it, visibly. A line on a page, a check, anything you can see, because you are not trying to feel disciplined, you are trying to accumulate proof. Refuse the word tomorrow out loud when it comes. Name it for what it is. Permission to become the same man again. And when the day comes that you do not feel like it, and that day is coming, you do not summon strength. You remind yourself who you are now, and you let that man move your hands. If this is the voice you have been avoiding because it does not flatter you, subscribe. The next one asks more, not less. This is the whole mechanism. You do not stop quitting by trying harder on the day you want to quit. You stop quitting by becoming someone for whom the option no longer exists. Take that option off the table, one kept promise at a time, and the day will come when you reach for the exit and find there is no door left in the wall. Slow down now. You came here looking for the strength to push through one more hard day. You are leaving with something colder and more permanent. You are leaving knowing the hard day was never the problem. The man who walked into it was. You do not have to feel different to begin. The feeling comes last. It is the reward for proof already laid, not the fuel for proof not yet earned. So stop waiting to become him. In the next hour, before the mood shifts and the word tomorrow finds your mouth again, choose the one action you have been deferring. Make it small enough that you cannot argue with it. Then do it, badly if you must, and mark it where you can see it. That single mark is not a task completed. It is the first piece of evidence that you are no longer the man who leaves. Do that in the next hour, and quitting loses the only door it ever used.